Health Texas and Halftime Pizza proudly present Real Boxing with legendary fight trainer Ronnie Shields.
Guys, welcome. Happy Tuesday to everybody. And if it is indeed Tuesday evening, well, that means only one thing. We're seeking the counsel of the legendary fight trainer, Hall of Fame badass, Coach Ronnie Shields. Ronnie, how are you this evening, sir?
I'm doing great, man. Doing great.
And guys, this also wouldn't be a Tuesday without the accompaniment and of co-host and hardest working journalist in boxing right now, the young billionaire. How you doing, brother?
What's up, Big Joe? Coach Ronnie.
I tell you what, guys, it's been a busy news day for boxing. That's actually quite surprising. Been a very busy news day. So, guys, we usually don't do this. We're going to get started. We're going to start the program with fact or fiction after we find out. Well, Coach Ronnie, congratulations. Heard you had a little victory this past Saturday evening in San Antonio at the Alamodome, and it was your man, Xavier Bocanegra, big featherweight. He picked up the TKO in 3 over, poor pro debuter Travis Crawford. Boy, he got it. Coach, how did your man look? Were you happy with his performance?
I was very happy with his performance. His uncle trained him for the fight because we couldn't, seem to get it together on the fight yet. And then at the last minute, we was able to get on the card. So he was training at home with his uncle. His uncle did a great job, we just went over a few things in the dressing room. But, the kid did everything that we asked him to do, and he got the victory. And I was so happy for Xavier. His father's out of town, so, he haven't been able to work with him. And normally his father would bring him here, but he's been out of town. So his uncle had to do the job, and he did a great job. But Xavier was in great shape. He was ready to go. And actually he fought over his weight in this fight because he's really a 22-pounder. But the other kid couldn't. The other kid is a featherweight, so we met in the middle at 124.
Jeez, he's actually a super bantamweight, Coach.
Yes.
You've got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
He's a big boy in person too, Joe. He's a little monster.
Wow,
Yes,
that's crazy. Well, I tell you what, congratulations. Look forward to seeing more of the X-Man Xavier Bocanegra. I tell you what, Coach, young Bill, was there something you saw online of Philly Bergovich getting into some kind of heated discussion online? Is that what you saw?
Yeah, I saw him on the Boxing Voice, man. He said, yeah, Jared Anderson, you could fight here. He told him he invited him to Coach Ronnie's gym. He said, we can spar now. Yeah, I seen Philip is nothing to play with, and he called out Big Baby Anderson to come spar.
Wow.
Yeah. That would be a great fight down the line.
Yeah, Coach. So how do you feel about that if it's a potential opponent down the road? How do you not allow that in sparring then? What is your position on that?
The thing about it is, we were looking for sparring when they came over, and then they suggested Big Baby Anderson, but he's not a southpaw. Philip was fighting a southpaw, so it wouldn't have worked out anyway for us. But but it was, those guys were talking for Big Baby, like he's gonna want a whole lot of money to come spar with you.
Oh, jeez.
And blah blah blah. So it was just talk, man. It really wasn't nothing serious. It was just going back and forth. Look, eventually down the line, these guys are going to meet up.
Yep, that is right. And so, yeah, it might not be a good idea then to have sparring at this level, at this time. You don't want him to see any of Philly's tendencies or any habits or anything like that. So, yeah, I tell you what, before we get started with Fact or Fiction, I want to give a shout out to some of our dear friends, the Extended Work Week Radio family. John McSmith says, salute Joe and boxing legend Ronnie Shields. He even has the cool beer and the cool crisp salads. And a shout out to our sponsor, Halftime Pizza. Also want to give a shout out to our brother Jesus M. Salutes to you, my friend. Also want to give a shout out to Big Smoke. Good evening, brother. Also give a very big shout out to our brother Sean. Happy days to you, my friend. Also want to give a shout out to Big Say So. Salute to the Can't and panel. Salute to you,
the
brother.
chat and panel. Salute to the chat.
Oh, chat. My apologies. I didn't see the last one. My apologies. Thanks for joining us, Big Say So. Also want to give a shout out to our brother Ignorant Boxing. Saludos to you. Salutes, man. I also want to give a shout out to our brother Toby Bartlett. Salute Joe Young Bill and Coach Ronnie.
Salute, Toby.
Want to give a shout out to Minnie Meal. Thank you for always being a part of the show, my friend, and supporting the coach every Tuesday night. But I tell you what, it's time for an early Tuesday night edition of Fact or Fiction. Coach Ronnie, are you ready, sir?
Yes, sir.
Here we go. This one. Now, the first 5 were devised by the young billionaire. So here we go. Number 1. Teofimo Lopez will skip the sanctioning organization's pecking order and get a title shot if he defeats Pedro Campa on August 13th. Fact or fiction?
I'm gonna say fact. And after he won this fight, it's a lot of money out there. So,
Indeed.
And he commanded a lot of money for the opponent. So, so I think that they're willing to put it up. As long as it's not a mandatory get in the way, then he definitely can get it.
You know what though, Coach? I guess that's dependent on how he looks, right? That's one of the deepest divisions actually in boxing.
Oh, without a doubt.
If you're Bruce Trampler and Brad Goodman,
right,
well, who do you think he matches up best against? And once again,
Josh Taylor.
Ooh.
He matches up well with Josh Taylor. Jose Ramirez is a good matchup for him. Joe, it's not. Look, if the kid is healthy and he looks good, I mean, Joe, as deep as 140 is, Coach Ronnie, it's not brimming with name value. So when you look at 140, the Regis Prograis and those guys, as great as Regis is, these guys are not household names. Teofimo, when he beat Lomachenko, he jumped on the scene, burst on the scene.
Right.
And I think like Coach says, man, it's a lot of money out there for him.
Mm-hmm.
And he commands a lot of money for the opponent. I think if he looks good, I could see him getting the title shot too. I kind of agree with Coach.
Absolutely.
Indeed. And there you
have it. He got a lot of money behind him. So
yep. Absolutely. But he still has the Bud Light endorsement, doesn't he?
Yeah. And Coach, who does he match up with though to you? Who do you think that out of the chance? Because you have Jose Ramirez and Jose Cepeda fighting for the WBC.
Right.
Josh still has 2 of those belts, Coach.
Yeah, I think he matches up well against Josh Taylor.
Well, I tell you what.
That should be who they be after.
You know what, though? It's rumored that the only reason why he's interested in a fight opposite Jack Catterall, and no, it's not just to, prove all of his naysayers incorrect. It's rumored that he can't come to the U.S., which is the real reason why he's having to fight Jack Catterall, because of his affiliation with Daniel Kinahan.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, that's what it is, my friend.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't even know if I was supposed to say that on the air, but there it is, guys. The Tartan Tornado has visa issues, don't you know? So yeah, that's a problem. And you know what? Tell you what, though, Coach, if he looks against Teofimo Lopez the way he did against Jack Catterall, I think Josh Taylor would be going to sleep in that fight. What say you, sir?
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that one.
Oh, I mean, and let me ask you something, Coach. Did he just forget how to fight, Josh Taylor? Like, isn't that the way it looked?
Yeah, I mean, it looked that way. I mean, I don't know, man. Sometimes fighters have things on their mind. They're really
Mhm.
not concentrating on what they're supposed to, or he was just too confident that he was going to win. That happens a lot in the sport.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, great question, great fact or fiction. We'll move on to number two, guys. And if you want to play along, guys, don't forget all of the fact or fiction prognostications are in the description portion of the YouTube page, okay? Moving on to number two, fact or fiction. Errol Spence Jr. will face Keith Thurman in November because Bud Crawford will stand firm on his demands, consequently pricing himself out of his career-defining fight. Fact or fiction?
uh, I want to say fiction on this one. I sure hope it's fiction
Oh.
because everybody want to see that fight.
Yeah.
I think everybody want to see it. And I don't know. I think you know, every fighter think they're worth more than everybody else. You know,
Yeah.
it's just a part of being in the sport for so long. You feel that. But the problem is, he just don't have the pay-per-view numbers behind him or any other numbers behind him to support the money that he wants to fight Errol Spence. And it's a shame. But, you know, I think, somebody will come and will go and talk to him, make him understand that, you can, you make money on your numbers, not on anything else. You make money on numbers. And people will watch this fight. And whatever the numbers are, look, you know, it's still they're making a lot of money, compared
Mm-hmm.
to whatever. You can't compare what he's gonna make in that fight to whatever he's already made.
Yep.
And sometimes though, these fighters they get greedy and
Mm-hmm.
they overprice themselves in these huge fights, So, but I really and truly believe nobody wants to see Keith Thurman fight Errol Spence. That's not the fight people want to see. People want to see Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence, and I know Errol Spence wants that fight, and I really and truly believe Terrence Crawford wants that fight, and I really believe he's going to come up and, he's going to give in and say, you know what, come on, let's do it. You know,
And coach, speaking about the numbers, so when you say that, just to be more clear, because there's a lot of people that say, well, you can pony up $40-50 million for Canelo, but you can't pony up $20-30 million for Terrence Crawford. And can you explain why, that you can't compare fighters? Because they say because Bud Crawford's pound for pound number one and his accolades, he should get as much money as whatever he's asking for. But can you
it's
explain why it doesn't
yeah,
work like that?
it doesn't work like that because look, understand something. The television has to make money too. It's not
Mm-hmm.
all about the fighters. They're not just putting these fights on just for people to watch. They putting this fight on because they want to make money also. That's how they stay in business. That's how they continue to put on fights because of the money that the people pay out. And if they give all of the money to the fighters, then you're not going to have a network for anybody to be shown on.
That's
So,
it.
so this is a business deal, and the television is not going to give you all of the money and they get nothing out of it. Why are they showing it? They have employees, they have
Mm-hmm.
trucks that have to go here and there and everywhere. They got to pay for that satellite that's going
Yep.
to provide the pay-per-view so people can get it in their homes. That costs a lot of money. And if they give it all to the fighters, then they're going to be out of business really
That's
fast.
it. As it is, coach, most people don't even know, and bravo, very well said, coach. And once again, we love your knowledge of the business, and we learn something every week. We learn something new. But I will say this, coach, most fans don't even realize that the networks are only entitled to 10% of the take. And they're expected to pay for the entire guaranteed purse of the main event?
Yeah, that's crazy. That's not going to
Yep.
happen. Because
So,
you have to have you have an undercard, and then they can't forget that you have an undercard also. They got to get paid too. Look, they pay the promoters a certain amount of money who have to pay the undercard, but still, it's coming out of the money that's provided for the fight, and they're going to only spend so much money. I don't care if it's Canelo or whoever. They're going to spend so much money. Now, they spend a lot more money on Canelo because his numbers support what is happening on the night he fights. So, people saying he's making $40 million, yeah. But, the television is making probably $80 to $100 million, so they could pay everything and everybody. Their profit may be 10%, if that.
Yep.
So, but at least that they give you the entertainment that you bought. But one guy can't hold up, and it's not going to hold up. The TV from putting on good fights. It just won't happen.
That's it, guys. And once again, if these networks don't, just like Ronnie said, if these networks, stop making money on their investment, well, guess what? They're going to stop investing in the product. Absolutely. And what's going to happen to the sport in America if without TV dates?
Going to die.
Yep, that's it. So, guys, support our beloved boxing. Want to give a shout out to our brother Jonathan Simon. Welcome to the show, sir. Joseph, Young Bill, and Coach Ronnie. Blessings and much love. Much love to you, my friend. Also want to give a shout out to Yuli X Games. Welcome to the show, sir. What's good with you, my friend? Thank you for joining us, sir. I will say this, guys. There was a very interesting article, and once again, it's live right now on Boxing News 24. I dropped the link up there, and it's basically Young Bill's. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was about to let the cat out of the bag of who your source was. My apologies, brother.
Yeah.
Or would you like to disclose that on Ronnie's show?
Yeah. Who my source was?
Yep.
the president of Showtime himself, the sports, over the sports programming for Showtime. Steven Espinoza was my source, but people don't believe it anyway, Joe. So it doesn't matter as long. What I'm finding out is that people want to see this fight so bad that even if you're telling the truth, and Coach Ronnie even attested to it just recently in the last Fact or Fiction question about a fighter maybe asking for too much money. He's not disrespecting Terrence Crawford. He's just saying that the numbers may not support what Terrence Crawford is, asking for. And that's all it was. It was never intended to be a disrespect to Terrence Crawford, because we all want to see the fight, and we all know that he's a pound-for-pound fighter. It was never disrespectful. But the great Coach Ronnie Shields, the great James Gogi, Steven Espinoza, these guys have been in the business for so long. So when Coach Ronnie speaks about it, I listen. When Coach Gogi speaks about it, the business of boxing, I listen. When you speak about the business of boxing, I listen. When Steven Espinoza speaks about the business of boxing, I have to take note, Joe. And so this was very alarming to learn what I learned from Steven Espinoza over the weekend. And thanks to Coach Ronnie for introducing me to him.
Yeah, Steven's a great guy. And, boy, you can tell, though. You can see the years in this boxing business. Boy, you can see it all over his face, can't you, Coach?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's what this brutal ass beating business will do to you. Also want to give a shout out to our brother King Jimbo. Welcome to the show, sir. Salute to you, brother. Coach Ronnie, God bless. God bless to you, my friend. Also want to give a shout out to our brother Tony Boswell. Much respect, Warwick Radio, and the chat stopped in to show support and hit the like button. Yes, guys, please hit the like button. Subscribe if you already haven't, or if you haven't already. I tell you what, let's move on, guys. We have a long way to go and a short time to get there. Number 3, Fact or Fiction, Coach. Vasyl Lomachenko versus Devin Haney will happen in October instead of Haney Kambosos 2. Fact or Fiction, Coach?
I hope it's a fact.
You're not thrilled about the rematch, Coach?
Why, Coach?
Well, the only reason I say that, I think, I think that that's the better fight that people would really want to see. And uh, Kambosos, he's going to get the winner regardless because you know, he has the right to the next fight. So, and I just think people would probably want to see, Lomachenko more than the Kambosos. And, look, he's in a win-win situation right now. He gets the rematch, or you know, and if he lose again, then you can wipe him off the map. He's done. But
Hmm.
and the money he's going to make, okay, he's going to make good money. But you take good money to step aside, and you automatically get the winner. You're still going to make a lot of money, regardless. He can get two paychecks instead of one. And if his team was smart, they would talk some sense into him. You know, I keep saying, boxing is a business. These fighters sometimes they don't think, about business. They think about, I got to get him back. That's not
Mm.
it's not business.
Yep.
Business is making money. Putting food on your table. You know, making right decisions in your career. That's like if you, just had a regular job and your contract is up, and then somebody else wants you, but and offer you more. What are you gonna do? You're gonna, you know, you're gonna negotiate with the people that you are working for and those other people. And what you're gonna do? You're gonna take less money, or you're gonna take more money for the same job.
I tell you what, this is what, Coach, this is what Shakur Stevenson had to say about it, okay, in a recent interview. He
Okay.
said this with Fight Hype. He said this, quote, you know what? Um, he said, I heard that Lomachenko expressed that he wants the belts. I really hope that Team Haney finds something in that contract that gets him out of the rematch because no one wants to see that again. I disagree with people who think Devin had a boring performance. That's a false narrative. I really, really enjoyed that fight, actually. It was one sided. It was a one sided fight. Who wants to sit and watch that fight when you know clearly that if Devin goes out there with him again, there's not going to be no difference in the rematch? There's nothing Kambosos can do differently. That's who he is. He fought like he fought. It's the same way he fought against Teofimo Lopez, but it worked with Teo, and it's not going to work with Devin. I don't want to
Right.
see it. I think Devin dominates him easily again. Devin may even stop him this time. So he might get bold and pull real hands on him and get him up out of there. I really think the next fight should be Devin and Lomachenko. And let me get active on whoever. You know how that goes. End quote. So, yeah, it seems that Shakur Stevenson agrees with the coach.
Yeah.
And I
And
think the great majority of the boxing community wants to see that fight.
absolutely.
So,
You know,
coach, who wins? Who wins Lomachenko Haney, coach?
I don't know. I have to look at both of them again. I, we have to see what Lomachenko is going to look like. Look, sometimes these layoffs are not good. Sometimes these layoffs, they hurt you more than it helps you. You know, and we just have to see what Lomachenko is bringing to the table.
Mm.
But understand something, Devin Haney, man, he's a really good fighter, and now he's world champion. He's going to be a better fighter, and and I've seen guys grow better over the years from winning a world title. So he's not going to want to give it up easily. And I think it's a great fight. But for me to pick a winner, I have to go back and I have to see what Lomachenko is going to look like in this next fight, and then look at Haney again, and then I
Hey,
can tell you better then.
hey,
Mm.
coach. Hey, Joe, real quick. Devin Haney also said the rematch has to make sense, and he said, you know what I mean by make sense. He said, I took short money. I took the short end of the stick the first time. I went against all odds. He said, Kambosos can come to America for the rematch, or I can go back out there, but you have to make it right for me to go back to Australia again. And you have to make it financially right for me to go back out there again. So He said it has to make sense for this rematch to happen.
And I understand he's saying that, but that doesn't matter what he says.
That's it.
The money, whatever the money is what it is. And it's going to be written. It's already written in his contract.
Yep.
If he wins, what his percentage is going to be against whatever, because if you have to go to first bid or whatever for people to, put this fight back on, he gets a certain percentage, and that's what it is. And when you sign these contracts, man, you have to read through them.
That's
and
it.
Make sure you know what's in there and what your lawyers put in there. That if you win, you get a certain percentage. But again, if it have to go to a purse bid, then purse bid are good for everybody. It's only good for some people.
Yep. That's what I'm saying. Got the contract.
So, Coach, how does he get out? So this is my thing, because people keep talking about Devin against all these other opponents. How the heck does he get out the contract? If you said it's airtight like that, Coach?
He can't get out the contract.
Nope.
He can get out the contract, but he could be stripped of the titles.
Yep. That's it. And be taken to court.
Absolutely.
Costs a lot of money.
Absolutely.
Yeah, look, if they can't actually, and think about this, Coach. Do you think Haney Lomachenko is a big enough money fight where step aside actually would make sense? Would there be enough step aside money in that? Okay, so that would probably be the best option, and you would have to pretty much guarantee Kambosos a shot at the winner.
No, you have to guarantee that. If he's going to step aside, you have to guarantee that both fighters are willing, and they have to put that in writing. I mean, I'm pretty sure Kambosos' lawyer going to make sure that's in the contract, and the boxing organizations have to agree to it.
That's it, guys. That's the only way he's going to get out of his contract. Either that or relinquish the belts and say he can't make 35 any longer.
Absolutely.
Because look, the best thing about boxing for the fighters, no one can point a gun to a fighter's head and force him to do something in the ring.
That's right.
That he doesn't want to do. Okay, that supersedes any contract.
Absolutely.
Right? And there it is. But I tell you what, great questions, great answers. Thank you so much, Coach. Moving on, though, to number 4. And this gentleman's going to be competing this weekend. Fact or fiction, Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis will fight in December of 2022, later this year, if KingRy is successful this weekend against Javier Fortuna. Forgive me for using his sorry moniker. Man, I can't believe I said that. Never again will I say that terrible nickname. That is so stupid. Anyway, I'm sorry. As you were, Coach Ronnie. Fact or fiction?
Fiction. Not going to happen.
No.
I said, make sure it don't happen. He's going to talk it up. He's going to talk it up. Right? He will.
Do you know that from experience, Coach? Do you know that from experience?
Yeah. You got to know. It just happened a few months ago.
I love it.
Look, if the fight is going to be on Showtime, he's going to want it to be on the zone. Okay? Simple as that. That ain't going to happen. Showtime is not going to do that. That fight would never happen.
And there it is. Guys, but that's a damn shame. I love that fight, Coach.
Hey, Coach, my man Jonathan.
I love it too. Everybody loves it.
Hey, Coach, my man Jonathan says, heck no. Oscar didn't want to make Charlo versus Munguia.
That's what I was just talking about.
Oh, boy.
Oscar, Showtime was the network that reached out to Golden Boy about making that fight. They did that. They accepted everything. Then when it came time to sign the contract, he wanted to throw the zone in. How you going to throw the zone in when Showtime is footing the bill? It's not going to happen. Simple as that.
Wow, Coach, and that's something that people don't understand about those people. Were like, man, why didn't they just split do a cross promotion and let Charlo fight on the zone?
There's no money involved in that. And when you do a split pay-per-view, right? I was involved in a split pay-per-view when Mike Tyson, he fought Lennox Lewis. You can afford to do that because people love that fight. And both guys were generating a lot of views,
Yep.
from each other. So, people wanted to see that fight. How many people out there are begging for Jamal to fight Munguia? It doesn't make sense. Showtime is not going to split their revenue to share with the zone, and they lose all this money.
That's it, guys. Yeah.
As simple as that.
And Coach, how often does a split pay-per-view occur in boxing? Because I remember a few off the top of my head, but it doesn't.
It doesn't happen a whole lot.
No.
Like what?
But it's got to be two fighters, like a Errol Spence versus a Travis Crawford. Like that. That would do a good split pay-per-view if it would need be. If it had to be. But there's not many fights right now that could happen that you could do a split pay-per-view with. And everybody be satisfied and make money. There's not a lot of fights out there that would work.
Yep, that's it, guys. And once again, especially considering the current economic climate and the illegal streaming problem. I mean, right now, guys, let's just face it. We're in a pay-per-view bear market. That's a huge quandary, and that's one of the primary reasons why, well, it's very difficult for Showtime to justify the kind of dollars that Terrence Crawford is currently asking for right now.
Absolutely.
That's a huge, huge problem, guys. Ray, thank you for joining us, brother. I'm not going to put your comment on the screen, but thank you, sir. We really appreciate it, my friend. Your support means a lot to all of us. Thank you for always supporting Warwick Radio as well as Coach Ronnie. Thank you, Senor. I tell you what, though, also want to give a shout out to our brother, Peter Von Arx. Good evening to you, sir. Also give a shout out to our brother, Mad Dog H. What's good, my boxing homies? What's good with you, my friend? Also want to give a shout out to our brother, Sly Tendencies. Shout out to Spence and Ugas for getting 250,000 pay-per-views in this climate. Well, actually, that was misreported. The actual number was 129,000, sir. That's not very good, but oh, jeez. Goodness gracious. I tell you what, moving on, guys. We've got a long way to go in a short time to get there. Well, hold on. Since Ryan Garcia came up, how do you see this fight playing out on Saturday, Coach? Ryan Garcia versus Javier Fortuna. And are you interested in seeing what new wrinkles or what improvements maybe Coach Joe Goosen has made to Ryan?
No, I'm not interested in seeing it.
Oh, that's right. It's on the Dark Zone. My apologies,
he doesn't watch Dead Zone, Joe. Come on.
That's it, brother. That's it. My apologies, brother.
He don't have Dead Zone. He doesn't have that.
I read about it.
That's right. My apologies, brother. Please forgive me. It's we don't mention the unmentionable on Coach Ronnie's show.
I see the highlights.
Oh, and there you have it. There you have it. Oh, dude. And there it is. All right, moving on, guys. Number 5, fact or fiction. Big Zurdo Ramirez will pull off the upset against Dmitry Bivol in their WBA 175-pound title matchup later this year. Fact or fiction, Coach?
That's fiction all the way. He's a decent fighter. He really is. But, I think Bivol right now is on cloud 9. And,
Yep.
he's definitely going to be a better fighter. And, he definitely wants to rematch with Canelo to prove that it wasn't a fluke. So, I just don't see, I like Zurdo as a fighter. He's a really good fighter. But I just think Bivol right now, he's at the top of his game. He's very confident. Anybody you put in the ring with him right now, I think he's going to beat. It just don't need to unify the titles. Stay away.
Yeah. Yep, that's it, Coach. I don't see anyone fighting Arthur
Better be.
Beterbiev. That
Yeah.
guy's a monster, an absolute
So,
monster.
and Coach, that's a shame, like you said, because it's not money in cross and dual promotion,
Right.
with two networks, because one is with DAZN and one is with ESPN. So what's the likelihood of us getting a all Russian undisputed fight at 175, Joe? I mean, Coach Ronnie.
No,
Very.
it's not that it can happen. It's not. I mean, it can happen because one network got to approve the other one to go to the other network, you know, and they want to make money too. So they, I don't see it happening, but you never know. But I don't see it happening right now.
Yep, I think Coach Ronnie has the beat, and I will say this. Our brother Jonathan Simon says he agrees with you, Coach. He says, fiction, especially if Zurdo Ramirez comes in as Hungry Jack Biscuits like he did in his last fight. Oh, my gosh, Gordo. You need to start calling him Gordo Ramirez, man. Chihuahua. I tell you what, did I say that? I'm sorry, guys. Number 6. Oh, geez. And once again, guys, the reason why we're bringing that up, and that was actually in this edition of Fact or Fiction, was because the WBA and Gilberto Mendoza just ordered Zurdo Ramirez and made him the mandatory challenger for Dmitry Bivol at 175 pounds. Speaking of Gilberto Mendoza, one of the primary reasons why, the primary reason why you weren't able to be on the air last Tuesday is you guys had a little ceremony in downtown Houston, Texas. Would you like to share with the live audience why they were and what they were commemorating?
Oh, Zavadi!
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was a really good function, but the main thing was they wanted to give Jamel Charlo and Marlene Esparza.
Yep.
Marlene Esparza, championship belts. They wanted to recognize them with like super belts. The belts was really nice. And then they gave me an award. They gave David Morrell an award, and myself and the president of USA Boxing, he also got an award. One of my ex-fighters, David Bull Juan Diaz, he got an award. And other people they gave out awards to. And I mean, it was a really nice ceremony. People really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, and we took a lot of pictures, and I talked to Gilberto a lot. And then that's when he informed me that he was moving to Houston, Texas.
That's outstanding.
He's moving the WBA headquarters to Houston.
Yes, isn't that awesome? Wow,
Absolutely.
That's great. That's wonderful for the sport of boxing, Coach.
Absolutely.
Wow, Coach, that's breaking. That's awesome.
Absolutely.
So the WBA will be here in Houston?
Absolutely.
Headquarters? Oh, man.
Yes.
Awesome. So we can expect a lot more of those type of events.
Oh,
yeah, so guys, next time there's a robbery and the WBA sanctions a fight, you know where to find him. You don't have to travel all the way down to Panama. No, I'm kidding, guys. So, yeah, this is great news for the sport of boxing. And once again, so now we're going to have two of the sanction organizations within the continental US of A. And that's IBF out of New Jersey. And now you've got the WBA in Houston, Texas. Clutch City, baby. So there it is. So thank you for bringing us up to speed, Coach. Number 6, fact or fiction. Are you ready, Coach?
Let's do it.
The Adrien Broner versus Omar Figueroa fight poster will read, "Make a wish upon 2 falling stars." Fact or fiction?
I can't do that to my boys, man. Fiction.
I'm sorry, Coach. I had to do it. Oh, jeez. Guys, it was announced. Yes, sir.
This could be one of the highest rated shows on Showtime. You watch.
No, you're absolutely right. Both guys are Well, obviously, Adrien Broner making his comeback is always a big story, but he's in a very fun style matchup.
Absolutely.
Both guys are in the twilight of their career. You could almost say they're approaching the clubhouse.
But this is the only reason that they're putting this on, because of the style matchup.
That's it. Guys, if you have wanted to see Adrien Broner let his hands go with regularity, here you go. He's going to be forced to fight against Omar Jr. This is going to be a tremendous style matchup. Let's just hope that, well, both guys have enough in the tank, well, to fight for all 3 minutes of every round, and we don't see something like Robert the Ghost Guerrero versus Victor Ortiz.
Oh,
no.
Hey, Coach, and who do you have in that fight?
Man, I don't know. It's a pick'em fight, man. To tell you the truth.
Yep.
Because, you know, just looking at Omar in his last fight.
Oh boy,
they look so good. And
nope.
Adrien also, neither one of them.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think it's gonna be whoever wants it more. And when you got two fighters that at the crossroads of their career, a win by one of them is going to really help them to get back on that track that they got off of. So it's hard to pick a winner in this fight. I think Omar is a bit a stronger fighter, but I think the faster fighter is going to be Broner. So, and the good thing about Broner is he can go in and out, and Omar just doing one way. So that's why it's going to be so exciting.
Yep. Can't wait to see it. The Can Man returns. You know what, guys? And I look forward to the press conference announcing this thing.
Yeah.
Puerto Ricans, Mexicans, Africans.
Yep, all the cans are going to be there.
God bless him, guys. So once again, congratulations to Adrien Broner, Omar Figueroa. Well, snatching retirement or snatching a big payday out of the jaws of retirement. And there you have it. Thank you, Steven Espinoza. Number 7, Fact or Fiction. Jermell Charlo will elect to take a 10-round off-TV non-title fight in Houston, Texas, before his mandatory defense against Tim Tszyu on January 28th, 2023. Fact or fiction, Coach?
Fiction. I don't see that happening.
No, but he should.
You don't need to. You really don't. You don't need to. I think I think he's okay. He's been looking good, and his spirits are, of course, really high. So, I think he wants to shut Tim Tszyu up anyway.
Yeah, I get that sense as well. But, Coach, that means he'll have fought once again 3 times then over the last 3 years.
Yeah, that's
once
crazy.
A year for the last 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, but look, this is why you have training, and this is why you have to know how to work your body. He knows how to do that, so it shouldn't be no problem with him doing that. So,
and in this climate of boxing, Joe, I mean, him fighting in 8 months, because he fought in May. He fought May. Yeah. He fought
sure
May,
did.
and he'll be fighting in January. So that's about an 8-month layoff. That's in this game.
Yeah,
it's pretty normal. I don't think he's gonna have a tune-up. Do you think Tim Tszyu would take a tune-up, Joe?
Yeah, I tell you what, if he's going in against the undisputed champ, he should, because he looked like, well, I mean, look, he ended up adapting. His durability was impressive, but that was all that was impressive. Coach, am I exaggerating there?
No, not at all. But the thing about it is, you have to understand, though, if you take a tune-up fight and something happens, you get cut, you can get a broken rib, you break your leg, anything can happen.
Yep.
And, then he's going to lose his mandatory spot. So he don't want to do that.
Of course.
So he's going to have to sit back and wait on Jermell.
And there it is. And there it is. Want to welcome my brother Anthony Manzano to the show. He says, hi, Ronnie, Bill, and Joe. Hello to you, sir. Thank you for joining us. Oh, gosh, I have to read this on the air, Coach. And going back to the Adrien Broner announcement, he says, there is no can in Argentine. You're absolutely right. And I'm sure Maidana, boy, he taught him that very hard lesson back in 2013.
Yes, yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Oh, wasn't that a great fight, Coach?
Yeah, it was a great fight. You got a little bit of everything in that fight.
Oh, great. You know, that entire card was really good, Coach.
Yeah.
The co-main event was Keith Thurman versus Jesus Soto Caras.
Yeah.
And the best part about that, it wasn't even on pay-per-view. It was on regular subscriber Showtime.
Absolutely.
Love it. Boy, the good old days. So I was just supposed to be thinking that. For some reason, I have no filter today. Jeez. So number 8, Coach. Fact or fiction, Jake Paul versus Asim Rahman Jr. will do better numbers than Spence versus Crawford on Showtime pay-per-view for less than half the cost. Fact or fiction?
Wow, that's a hard one now, buddy. It's a hard one because this kid, Jake Paul, he's a social media genius.
Mm-hmm.
And those people, they're not even boxing fans. So I'm going to say fact.
You know what? It's hard to disagree with that, Coach. And especially now that he's actually fighting a real fighter, real boxer. Okay, now you're going to get the boxing diehards enthused about this fight, or interested at least. I'll say this, Coach. I think we may actually all of us owe Jake Paul a huge, sincere apology after everything is said and done, because he says this. He said this today at his press conference, right? Announcing Jake Paul versus Asim Rahman on August 6th. He said this. The MMA scene, quote, the MMA scene is effing dead. UFC isn't putting on any events that people are talking about any longer, yet boxing has one big fight after another big fight. Boxing is once again taking over MMA, end quote. What do you think about what he said? Because you look at 2022 as well as, well, I mean, let's just say ever since COVID, once the world got back to normal after COVID, right?
Yeah.
You look at the boxing schedule, it's been lights out, hasn't it?
Oh, absolutely, man. It's been a lot of shows, man. I mean, all the networks are, they're killing it. They really are. They're putting on shows. They're putting on shows back to back to back. Everybody's announcing their schedules, and, boxing has really been on the rise. So, and you really haven't heard much about MMA or UFC. You haven't heard a lot about any of that.
Yep.
So, but you're seeing boxing every week. Something is happening in boxing. So, but boxing is on the rise right now, and we have to keep it that way.
That's it. So I tell you what, I think after all is said and done, fans are ultimately going to be grateful that Jake Paul is supporting and avidly promoting our beloved boxing. Thank you, Jake. Keep up the good work. Hope you don't get flattened against the Little Rock. But I tell you what, and Peter Von Ark says, yeah, in that press conference, Rahman looked big next to Jake Paul. Yep, I have a feeling he is bigger. That's right. And I have a feeling Jake Paul, well, he may be regretting this decision. What do you think, Coach?
I don't know. I haven't seen Rahman Jr. in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
It's been years since I've seen him. But I know these guys sparred together. So I don't know. I don't know what happened in that. But we'll see on Fight Night.
Yep. We'll find out August 6th, guys. Kevin Fuentes, welcome to the program. He says, salute to the program. Coach, Ronnie's thoughts. Oh, boy. On a potential Abner Mares versus Tank Davis fight. Already shaking the head no.
Oh, come on, Coach. Come on, Kev. Abner Mares is about to get decapitated.
He can't see, and
Yep.
he still have eye problems.
Yep.
And
I tell you what.
I don't know
I'm
why
sorry.
he
Go ahead,
still
Coach.
want. I still don't know why he want to continue the fight.
Oh, that's right. He's got a fight coming up on the Andy Ruiz Ortiz pay-per-view.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy, man. You know, I hope this guy. I hope he's okay. Number one, but
Yep.
you know, when you have eye problems and you're in this sport, you know, you can get hit with, you know, with the side of the glove, head butted, anything, and this kid can go blind for the rest of his life. Why he want to continue to do this, and he have the problems that he's having with his eyes, I don't understand.
Oh boy, yeah. You know, that's really difficult to convince a fighter to put up the gloves when they feel that they still have something left in the tank.
Absolutely.
Just ask James Toney and Roy Jones.
Yep.
And you know, Coach, they're delusional. Actually, I'll never forget, Coach, and with all due respect, I remember seeing Roy at this when he was still trying to compete, but he was doing commentary for HBO. And I remember going up to him and asking him, I was like, you know, Roy, you've got nothing left to prove in this sport. You know, you're a first ballot Hall of Famer. You're one of the best to have ever done it. Why are you still prize fighting?
Right.
And he said, well, why should I quit when I can still do it? I'm still the best. I'm still Roy. And I'm like, and he points to Jim Lampley. He says, look, you see him? He's still at the top of his game. Why don't you ask him to quit? I'm like, well, because Lamps isn't taking punches to the head, Roy. But yeah, it was hard. It was hard to listen to it. Yeah, that interview I had with him. That was painful, actually, in fact.
Well, you know, you got 99% of fighters. You know, as long as they feel they can walk, they can run, they feel they can fight. That's just simple as that. You know.
Well,
that's just the way it is.
Yeah, unfortunately, Coach, it's a hard business. And I will say this, the only positive that could come out of Abner Mares stepping in the ring again is that it takes him out from behind the commentary booth. Ching Gao, Coach. Oh, jeez.
Oh, my God. I got no
a low blow, Joe.
I'm sorry, guys. It had to be done.
Yeah, I can't comment on that one.
No, I know. Look, he's a good guy, but come on. He can't even. Yeah, you're right. He doesn't even like to go out in public without his sunglasses. He's very self-conscious about that eye. It's like, what makes him think he's going to. I mean, well, we'll find out. First, he has to pass the medical first. We'll see if he does that. But, yeah, keep up. Practice makes perfect, Abner, when you're doing commentary. I know. Because it's very difficult. I do it as well, and so does young Bill. And it's not easy, but practice makes perfect, Abner. Please practice. That's all I'll say about that. God bless him. You want to give a question from our brother, Tony Manzano. He says, look, I understand it's all about promotion and perception, but you guys think it's a mistake for Jake just to release the good stuff on how he was performing in training camp with Hasim Rahman Jr.? Have you? Do you know what's going on there?
Yeah, I've heard this that Rahman Hasim Jr. is saying that he took it easy on him, and he let Jake do blah blah blah, and that's what Jake is showing. But I haven't seen any of it. But of course, he's gonna show the best of it. He's not gonna show him getting his butt beat. He's not gonna do that.
Who shows clips of them getting beat on?
Huh?
No, I said who shows. I was talking to Tony. Who shows clips of them getting beat on? Tony.
Yeah, nobody's gonna do that. You gotta be crazy.
Yeah.
So if you showing it, I can see the opponent showing it. If he had footage, he can show that, but he's not gonna show himself getting his ass kicked.
Well, let me ask you this though, Coach. I mean, what do you think about fighters even disclosing videos of sparring? Is that a below the belt move? Is that dirty pool? Is that something that is frowned upon and is considered taboo within the boxing community?
Oh, absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Man, I always urge my guys, do not put nothing online. Do
Yep.
not. You might, oh, I just put a clip. I don't even put the clip on. You know, put a picture, and make sure you hit another guy.
Yeah, Coach Ronnie is big on that, Joe. That's that. I can attest to
Yep.
that. That's true. No, none of his guys put any farm footage online.
That's it. That's it. Excellent point, Coach. And I tell you what, let's move on. It's let's see, we've got number 9 now, Coach. Fact or fiction? Boy, it's another one with Jake Paul. What do you know? Jake Paul will get knocked the F out by Little Rock on August 6th. Fact or fiction, sir?
I'm gonna say fiction, and the only reason I'm gonna say fiction is because I've seen Rockman Jr. before, and I wasn't impressed with him. And seeing Jake Paul, you really couldn't tell a lot in this last fight, And
Against Tommy Morrison's
yeah,
son, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
you really couldn't tell a lot, So, I I don't know. I just think that he had to know to pick the right guy. Otherwise he wouldn't get in there. You know what I'm saying? He wouldn't get in there if he didn't pick the right guy. So I'm gonna say fiction. He doesn't get knocked out in this one.
Well, I tell you what, he's going to have to learn the fine art of tying your opponent up, or else he's in trouble, Coach.
Well, he can punch now.
He can punch. He's got a good jab, too. I mean, keep in mind, guys, he's got a very good head trainer, a very smart guy in BJ Flores.
Yeah.
Like, BJ was always a very smart fighter and seemed to get the most of his athletic abilities because of his ring IQ and his work ethic, his determination. But this wasn't a guy blessed with the best reflexes and athleticism in boxing. And he made the most of it, had a very good career. And I knew he was going to make a very good trainer. So,
Right.
once again, he's got a very good corner. We'll see what happens, guys. It makes the fight more interesting, though, that he indeed chose Hasim Rock Jr., right? Interesting.
He was chosen for a reason.
And there it is, Coach Ronnie's nuggets of wisdom in this business. And there it is, guys. There it is. I want to give a shout out to our brother Smoke. Thanks for joining us, sir, and spending time with the coach.
Big Smoke.
Peace to you, my friend. Okay, Jimbo. All right, let's do this. He says, can y'all Texas boys show Crawford some love? All right, brother. He's calling us out saying we're biased for the Texas fighter.
Well, he sees this Spence picture with me, and he told me I'm on. He said I'm officially off. He said I'm officially off the Terrence Crawford fan club. He said I could no longer be a part of saying I'm a Terrence Crawford fan when you had this guy in your photo. So Jimbo kicked me out the club yesterday.
Jimbo, I love Terrence Crawford, man. I really do. But I just think he's overpricing himself like everybody else does. Just simple as that. This is simple business, man. He's overpricing himself. Everybody wants to make money. So give people a chance to make money, man. And all he had to do is, look over the contract, sign the contract if you really want to fight. If you don't want to fight, just say, hey, I don't want to fight. And then they can move on. Simple as that.
That's it.
Hey, Coach.
I smell an article right there, Coach. That was a great soundbite, sir.
And Coach, you also said Dillian White should be jumping like a sissy for $8 million. So
absolutely.
Oh,
and he did.
Oh, geez. Boy, yeah, that was a brutal uppercut, man, that he caught right in the chops. Never saw it coming. Oh, boy.
He got 8 million reasons to not be sorry about it.
I love it,
Joe,
Coach.
Look at Jimbo. Look what he put. Look what Jimbo put out there, Joe. The other response to that.
Okay. With a heavy heart, I had to boot young Bill from the Bud Club.
Shame on you. Jimbo.
Woo!
Shame on you, Jimbo.
I love it. Here, Jimbo, how do you like this? Welcome to the show, Rob23K. Errol is currently the best fighter, pound for pound. Salt in the wound, my friend. Salt in the wound.
My boy Smoke calls him Colt Crawford. He said Colt Crawford is in the house.
Oh, tell you what, we also want to give a shout out to our brother Carl Crocodile Hunter Hansen. Salute Joe, Coach Ronnie, and Young Bill. Salute to you, my friend. God bless you, brother. Hold on, let's see. Oh, here it is. So did Showtime kick Crawford to the curb? No, and hopefully they won't.
Even Espinosa told me personally, man, they want to get this fight done within the next 2 to 3 weeks before they give up hope on it. So, but he said also, it's a business and you have to fill out these dates. They have a lot of fighters, have a lot of obligations, but they would love to get this fight done within the next 2 to 3 weeks because they have to think about Boots getting back in there. They got Keith Thurman, you got Stanionis waiting for a title shot opportunity. So he told me it's a lot of stuff they have to work out. So this fight is the biggest domino to fall on their fall schedule, though. That's what he told me. And so they want to know if it's a yes or a no within the next 2 weeks.
It's one
there
thing.
it is.
They're not going to let him hold up their schedule. They would just pass on it.
Well, I tell you what. If you think we're hating on Bud now, if this fight isn't made, Jimbo, look out. It's going to get the horns. Yeah. I tell you what, moving on to the final fact or fiction prediction, sir. Number 10, Floyd Mayweather Jr. will announce a rematch with Manny Pacquiao later this year to take place in 2023, and it will be a real sanctioned fight, not an exhibition. Fact or fiction, Coach?
Fiction. Don't see it happening.
Yeah. Well, this is what Floyd had to say to Fight Hype, right? He said, I could come out of retirement for a sanctioned fight in 2022. He said, I've got 3 more exhibitions this year. It could be 1 fight and 2 exhibitions. You know what that's going to be worth? That's going to be worth at least $200 million. End quote. So who's he thinking of then, Coach? Is it going to be, the Lucky Charms guy from UFC?
I've been reading about one guy that I know of, but I just read today Manny Pacquiao's wife told him that he needs to retire. He don't need to come back. So I can base it off of that.
Very good. That's good enough for us. Yeah, you don't want to get on Jinky's bad side, guys. Chihuahua. I mean, come on, Coach Ronnie. Happy wife, happy life, right?
No doubt.
Yeah. And there it is, Coach Ronnie. You survived this edition of Fact or Fiction. Young Bill, do you have any questions that you'd like to throw at the coach at this time? And guys, if you have any final questions for Coach Ronnie, please fire away, guys.
Coach, what do you think about Floyd Mayweather saying that instead of Devin Haney worried about Tank Davis, why don't you worry about fighting Shakur? Y'all on the same side of the street. Y'all are both with Top Rank. What do you think? What do you think about him saying that?
Hold on. Let me read the quote first, okay? Because any chance to do my Floyd impression, I'm going to take it, okay? Quote. Here it is. Quote. This is from Floyd Mayweather. Is what he stated once again to Fight Hype. Quote. Shakur Stevenson, hell of a fighter. Devin Haney, he's a hell of a fighter. But guess what? If Top Rank has Haney and Shakur, then they need to fight each other. Don't worry about what about Gervonta Davis. Let Tank continue to do what Tank's doing. End quote. Coach, what say you, sir?
Well, look, the problem with that is, we all know that the fight would have to be at 135, not 130, where Shakur is. And, and I don't think Haney would fight him right now anyway. That's a big fight for him, but still, I think Lomachenko fight is bigger. And I think he would want to do that. But, Shakur and me, I don't know if they will go up to 35. They will probably want to meet in the middle. So it's a lot of things that's going to go against Haney, in fighting Shakur. So I don't see that happening, and I don't think it's going to happen.
And there it is, Coach. A couple more questions before we move on and bid everyone an excellent Tuesday night. Is it Joseph, Young Bill, and Coach Ronnie? Fact or fiction? Will Showtime put together Leo Santa Cruz versus Ray Vargas before the end of the year in a unification at 126? Fact or fiction, sir?
I'm going to say fiction because, listen, I know that's who Ray Vargas wants to fight. He wants to fight Leo Santa Cruz because he has a belt. But you got to understand that Brandon Figueroa he's going to be the mandatory now. He just fought a unification. He just fought in a title eliminator, and they're going to make him the mandatory against Ray Vargas. And I understand Ray don't want to fight him right now, but Ray may not have a choice. The only good thing can happen out of this because the three guys are on the same side of the street that, they could put Brandon on the undercard and guarantee him the winner out of Santa Cruz and Ray Vargas.
And there it is, guys. And there it is. I tell you what.
I have one question. Another one. Hey, Coach, how can you explain, because a lot of people gave were very critical of Frank Martin's performance, and what did you think about his performance against a late replacement, a kind of an awkward, rangy guy in Jackson Marinez, who's a pretty solid boxer? What did you take about his performance, Coach?
I thought it was a good performance. I thought anytime you fight a last minute replacement, you don't have the time. He didn't train for this guy, so sometimes it may take you a little bit longer, to figure a guy out. And that's what happened in this case. Look, the kid came to fight, but in the end, Frank caught him in the end, and he was able to just go ahead and put him out. And that's what happens in this sport. Sometimes you don't train the whole 12 weeks for one guy, then the fight doesn't happen, and then now you only have about 3 or 4 days to try to put together a game plan for a new guy. And that's difficult to do, no matter who it is. It's always something different now because you've been training for a different style. Now you got to redo everything. And it just took him a little bit more time. But being the fighter that he is, he was able to catch up to him and put him out.
And there it is. I thought it was a very impressive performance, Coach. Seeing that,
I thought that it was good on both sides early.
Absolutely.
It was good on both sides early, but you could see the other kid. He really wanted to fight. He really wanted to win, and that's the kind of fight that you want to see. But Frank Martin, he did the smart thing, and he started putting the pressure on at the end of the fight. At the later rounds, and then he caught him and he got him out of there. But that's what you want to see.
Indeed, absolutely. And Coach, how difficult is it when you're a counterpuncher by trade and a guy who usually likes to move about the ring? How difficult is it when you're forced to take the lead?
Yeah, look, it's hard, man, because again, you've been training for 12 weeks for a different style. Then all of a sudden now you got to readapt to something different, but that just shows that he's a good fighter because he was able to do that.
And there it is, guys. And there it is. I tell you what, I would be remiss. And once again, this is a special request from my brother, Anthony Manzano. He wants me to read this, and for good reason. Joe, Ronnie, Young Bill, sad news from pop culture. Not just pop culture, but guys, in the boxing news, right? In boxing. Actor James Caan, Hollywood legend, recently passed away this past weekend. Yes, he is Godfather. He wasn't in Goodfellas, but Godfather 1 and 2. Several classic movies. He was an American acting treasure, but most people don't realize this. He was also a promoter in New York. He loved the fight game, and he used to manage several fighters including Michael Hunter Sr. Did you guys know that?
I didn't know that.
And there it is, guys. The late, great James Caan. Rest in peace, sir.
Rest in peace. But, hey, Joe, can you address what Smoke said? He said Marinez had no camp either. He said he had no camp at all.
Oh, Jackson Marinez?
Yes.
Yeah, and I understand he didn't. I understand that. But he showed that he belonged in there.
Absolutely.
You know, and that's what I'm saying. You know, just think if this kid had time to prepare for this fight, what kind of fight it would have been. You know, so I think it just shows that this kid, you know, he wanted to become a world champion, and he was willing to take it on short notice.
And there it is. And coach, when you receive these opportunities, and obviously he stayed in great shape, he was ready, he stayed in the gym. Maybe not had a full training camp, obviously, but he was obviously stayed in the gym because he came in at 138 pounds, coach. Right. So he's obviously in shape. So when you get these assignments and you get called up, and especially coming off a loss, what does that do for you mentally? Do you feel like as a prize fighter, hey, this is another chance. I'm going to be on TV. I'm coming off of 2 losses. Here I am being flown in to lose, basically. This is my chance to overturn the apple cart. Is that how a fighter actually thinks in a situation like that?
That's the way you have to. That's the way you have to think. You have to think, this is my opportunity now. You know, the other guy don't know me. You know, I don't know him. But, you know, obviously he had to be in some kind of shape because he did come in, you know, 138 pounds. So he looked fit, he looked good, you know. But, you know, he just ran into somebody that was, you know, was just a little bit better than him. But I think he scored a lot of kudo points with a lot of people because he put up a hell of a fight. He put up a great fight, and I think he's going to get another opportunity.
And there it is. Yeah, he really deserves a lot of credit for taking on that assignment against a genuine blue chipper like Frank Martin. Because I don't know very many people, even given a full training camp, that would step in the ring with Frank Martin.
Absolutely. That's on short notice like that. You know, this guy, you have to give him a lot of credit. You know, he did that on short notice.
Indeed. And there it is, guys. Young Bill, do you have any final questions for the coach before we let him enjoy the rest of his evening, sir?
Oh, yeah, Coach, can you give us an update on Jamal Charlo and Osvati, Mr. Morrell?
Well, Jamal is still just taking it easy right now. But Osvati, he'll be down here August 1st because he's going to fight in October back in Minnesota. It's mandatory.
Ooh, back in Minnesota, Coach? That's you know what, Coach? I believe he has a huge fan base in Minnesota, and I think that's the right Coach. Just watching it on TV and seeing the atmosphere, and seeing how Osvati reacts to the crowd there. He feeds off the energy in Minnesota, so I think that's a great look for him to be fighting at the Armory again. But yeah, man, congratulations, Coach. Man, good news that he's getting back in the ring. You know, I'm a big fan of Osvati as a person. He's a heck of a person. He's funny. He's a character. And he's also just a solid fighter. He can really fight. Very talented. So yeah. And he's fighting his mandatory. Do you know what day in October, Coach?
No, I think it's the first week in October, though.
Okay, awesome.
Whatever the first Saturday is, I haven't looked at it.
Well, that's great because it better be early October because in late October.
No, it's definitely early October.
Thank God.
No, it's definitely
Minneapolis.
That's why I said the first week.
Yeah, early October. Aren't they trying to make Bud and Spence during the later weekends of October?
It can either be October 1st or October 8th.
Okay.
Excellent. We look forward to it, Coach. I tell you what, also, can we get an update on the status, the health of your man, Jamal Charlo? How's he doing?
He just said he's
just taking it easy right now.
Yeah.
Excellent. So no lingering back issues though for him?
No, he's been feeling good. He's been feeling good. So, like I say, he's just taking it easy right now until they, until he's ready to go back.
Hey, Coach, would they read? So if and when Maul gets back in the ring anytime later this year, or if he does, would it be against Zaleski, or would that fight be put back on right here in Houston? Or
I don't know yet. Until they call me and tell me, I have no idea.
Okay.
And there it is, guys. And so, Ronnie, thank you so much for your time, sir. Young Bill, do you have any party shots for our listening audience or for Coach?
Oh, yeah. Awesome weekend of boxing, man. Shout out to Frank Martin, Ray Vargas for getting up off the mat and showing a warrior spirit and finishing that fight. Shout out to Mark Magsayo for putting on, doing his best. And the whole card, man. Great to see Rashidi Ellis back in the ring. So, yeah, I mean, boxing, we have some great cards, great weekend of fights. It was good to see Coach Ronnie, and he introduced me to Steven Espinosa, Sam Watson. Yeah, man, it was great. A great experience. Got to meet my boy Errol Spence as I got kicked out the Bud fan club. So, yeah, man, awesome. Awesome work.
Outstanding. And once again, guys, please go click on that article that I left in the comment section titled, and once again, it's Young Bills. It's titled Spence versus Crawford. Have Bud and Showtime Sports reached an impasse? Go check it out, guys. Thank you for supporting it, and thank you for always supporting Coach Ronnie. And we want to thank Halftime Pizza in Help Texas for always supporting Coach Ronnie Shields every Tuesday night. Your parting shots for our listening audience, sir.
Continue to watch Wall Week Radio, and you can follow me at official Ronnie Shields on IG.
Coach there it is. Woo-hoo! Thank you so much, Coach. We appreciate it. And congratulations once again on the big win from Xavier Bocanegra. And we will look forward to hopefully seeing David Stevens very soon on TV. So that's going to just about do it, guys. On behalf of the young billionaire and on behalf of the legendary fight trainer Ronnie Shields, I'm Joseph Herron. You've been listening to Real Boxing with Coach Ronnie Shields. Have a great Tuesday evening, everybody.
Health Texas and Halftime Pizza proudly present Real Boxing with legendary fight trainer Ronnie Shields.